hit a solo homer off of Madison Bumgarner in the top of the 8th. It was 7-1 Arizona. So, no consequence really of the home run within the game. But I guess Robles was kind of watching it for a little bit and then did a little stutter step and ran over to first base. I watched it back personally. I didn't think it was like really egregious, but essentially, Madison Bumgarner had a quote after the game, and he's got kind of a rap sheet when it comes to this stuff, but he said of Robles, he's a clown. Golly, no shame, no shame. Like, it's 7-1. You hit your 3rd home run of the year and you act like Barry Bonds breaking the record. Clean it up. I don't care about giving up the run. Hell, we won 7-2, 8-2, whatever it was. It's frustrating. I'm the old grumpy guy, I know, but that type of stuff, that didn't used to happen. That's ridiculous. I guess to kind of round out the story, Robles the next night was caught in the dugout wearing a clown nose in the dugout, and I think it got the attention of LeBron James, who ended up retweeting a picture of Robles and was like behind him for it. But Robles said through an interpreter that when he's pitching well, Madison Bumgarner, he's able to celebrate and do what he likes to do. It seems like he calls everybody a clown that actually has a big hit or home run against him. If he doesn't want anyone hitting a home run against him or having issues with that, then just strike people out or make better pitches to where he doesn't have to worry about that. So that's kind of, I think, where it ended. I don't really think there was much else that escalated past that point, but I don't know if you watched the actual video of the home run, if you had any thoughts there, but then, what do you think of, Bumgarner's side? Are you for him and what he thinks? Are you against what he thinks? And, what do you make of all this?
Yeah, so I watched the John Boy. That's how I got. That's how I got familiar with it. That's obviously the most hysterical way to view it all and most entertaining way to look at it. So, but in regards to sides, I guess I don't know if I'm necessarily for either per se. I think Baumgartner has a good point. Why are you doing that? But at the same time, that's on Nobles, being just stupid. It's you hit a home run. It's completely meaningless. If you're gonna do that, make it a walk off, right? You do that on the walk off. You do that, if it's a playoff game and it was a meaningful home run, So that's where you do it. But yeah, a 7-2. I guess I get that, but at the same time, what's the saying about the opposite of being enthusiastic or something, or the opposite of basically, I think the idea is if you don't care about your enemy, that is the best vantage point for that. It's just don't care. And I think Bumgarner kind of cares. I think is what it seems like. He ought to just been I think the press probably asked him how did they feel about that. But if I guess the more perfect way to look at it from Bumgarner's standpoint is I honestly don't care. We won the game. Sure, you might have acted clownish or whatever, but I don't care. So that might have been maybe the better approach from a maybe more virtuous standpoint or whatever. So, but yeah, what are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel number one, what Robles actually did wasn't even egregious. I've seen, if you look at Jose Bautista standing at home plate and bat flipping, that's one thing. I mean, I even saw in the World Series, this was the worst one I ever saw. And this one I actually was that's over the line. But Cody Bellinger, carried the bat with him 3/4 of the way down the line and then flipped it. And I was just all right, there's a difference between being in the moment, enjoying your moment. You got a big hit in a big game. I get that, especially when you get to the playoffs. I get that you're that excited and you want to bat flip, totally cool with it. Have no problem as a fan or even as a baseball player, past and present. It's I get that. But Madison Bumgarner takes it to a whole nother level, because this guy gets so riled up about the smallest of things. There's a good compilation video on YouTube of Madison Bumgarner's freakouts, but there's 6 or 7 different moments in time, a couple with Yasiel Puig, another guy who was pretty much a no-namer at this point with the Dodgers, Max Muncy when he actually had a home run into the water in McCovey Cove in San Francisco. Even Will Myers, there was like a fly out or something. Will Myers was like not hustling down the first base line on a fly out. And Madison Bumgarner is like yelling at him in his direction. But like, Madison Bumgarner comes from like the oldest school of baseball, the oldest train of thought. I think he's, good old boy in the South and like plays, the game with, kind of an old man's mentality, and even kind of admitted I'm the grumpy old guy was kind of what he put in his own quotes. So he's kind of calling himself out for that. But like, I don't know, there's just too many incidents where I've watched Madison Bumgarner and like supposedly getting shown up. And I'm just like, man, this guy is so sensitive. Because the Muncy thing is probably the funniest thing I've ever watched on YouTube back like a million times. I think John Boy covered that one too, but it's just like, Muncy hits a bomb and he is walking and he is watching, and, Madison's like pointing at him like, go run, da 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 da. And he's like, hustle your ass or whatever. And he's like, no, he's like, yeah, I can't remember what Muncy said back to him, but there's one point in what Muncy says. He's like, why don't you go fetch that ball out of the water or something like that. So I thought that was pretty cool to just kind of shut him up. But yeah, I think there's a balance. I think when we're talking about like the greater picture, so like normally I'm always on the side of the player against Madison Bumgarner because he's always going to flip out. Like, seriously, watch this compilation video. And anybody who's listening to this, watch that compilation video on YouTube because it is hilarious. It's definitely worth like the 10 minutes. But yeah, just from a greater perspective, I think that, there are times where guys really cross the line. Like Carlos Gomez is another guy who I like vividly remember in Atlanta hitting an absolute bomb out to left center field into like probably like the 15th row. And this guy just like walked like all the way down the first base line, then started trotting. He's yelling at Freddie Freeman. He yells at the third baseman. And when he gets to home plate, Brian McCann is like, mask off, the catcher of the Braves, mask off. He's like in his face and they're just jawing before Carlos even gets to home, and there's pushing and shoving. And, that kind of stuff like doesn't belong in the game. Like, I don't like when guys, are deliberately trying to like rub it in the pitcher's face or the other team's face. But like, yeah, if you hit a bomb and you want to take a couple seconds to appreciate it, like, hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah. I think the idea is about respect, right? It's like you're not showing up the other player or the other team, or you're just enjoying the moment. I think and that's definitely like eye of the beholder, I guess. But, if you can convey that, like you're not looking at you're not staring down the pitcher, which I know Juan Soto sometimes does and everything with regards to all that. So it's like, if you're not disrespecting the pitcher in that sense and like aiming after him or, jawing on him, then I think it's just the sign of respect with regards to that. But at the same time, yeah, it's like you can still have fun, you can still enjoy things. It's like, yeah, that's what keeps the game going. But yeah, it is definitely a balanced act. I do recall like all the Korean bat flips and Japanese. Those are the best things ever. Like, that is an art form. So I'm like, yeah, like those things are pretty, like, I look at those, like, that's excessive, but it's part of the culture. It's ingrained, they've been doing it for decades. So, yeah, it definitely is one of those like, hey, you don't want to see me do this. Don't get me giving up home runs. So, I get all that. But yeah, it definitely is. I feel like a kind of that balance of, hey, at least don't show up the pitcher. Just, be respectful. Obviously, it's like, yeah, don't take your time just rounding the bases and starting around. I feel like, hey, yeah, do a nice backflip, or yeah, bat flip. If you can do a backflip, great. But yeah, just be as respectful as you can with regards to it. But yeah, still enjoy the game. It definitely is a nice balancing act, though. I think Tim Anderson is, in my opinion, I think he does it pretty well, like with regards to showing enthusiasm for the game and like oh, this is fun, and not necessarily disrespecting like the pitcher. But maybe that's my White Sox bias. So yeah.
No, I agree, because we're also in like a new generation of baseball where like it's not just the bat flips, but it's also like this flair that's brought in from other cultures. It's like jewelry is now a big thing, and different colored shoes and different colored arm sleeves, batting gloves, and maybe like the traditional uni set is about. Like, now, do I love like watching like Moncada come out in bright pink like cleats every game, or like Eloy wearing like 10 gold chains and like, baby blue cleats when we have black and white unis. Like, no, as a purist, I'm like, and even in the NBA, you'll see like Tatum wearing, purple basketball shoes with a green outfit. It's like, all right, you guys look like clowns kind of, but like, I get it. Cause it's like, kids who are watching this game or anybody who's like maybe our age or a little younger, who's just like into fashion, like wants to know like what are the coolest shoes, or like, let me go buy more merch. Like that's a good selling point. Like you get people like interested in like these little details of the game, I guess I could say. But like, yeah, I think like just a little bat flip after a home run, like if you're watching on TV and you're a kid, baseball's a slow moving game. It can be pretty boring, especially in today's era where it's just home run, pop out, or strikeout. So it's like, yeah, you need a little bit more energy around it. And like, I'm cool with that as long as, you're not trying to get in fights. And like, I'll honestly say like, if there's a fight that breaks out, I kind of like, it piques my own interest. So like, I'll like watch it a little more carefully, but like, yeah, just, don't be that guy on the video. It's just like, remembered for being a jackass. Like, but to get back to Madison, the only other thing I was going to say is that one guy who's a no-name around the Dodgers he got mad at. He once got mad at a guy because he popped out and he was pissed that he popped out. So like this guy like popped out and threw his bat down, was pissed and was running first. And Madison Bumgarner like said to him, like, you're not that good. Like, don't pretend like you were good enough to get a hit off me. Like, and then throw your bat like that. So like, he's just like the baseball police. And I'm like, this guy just needs to go. Like, he's done a good job for the game. Like, he'll probably be a Hall of Famer. It's like, seriously, old man, just like go back to Mississippi or wherever you're from. Just like, just chill out a little bit. Seriously.
Yeah, no, you definitely admire his passion for the game in that sense. But yeah, like, come on, other people can have fun and enjoy life. Like, I know apparently you can, but other people can enjoy life. So, no, I'm all for that. Yeah, was very clutch when he was the Giants, won those World Series. I guess the Giants wanted to move on and got some assets from the Diamondbacks, but it's like, yeah, you got to admire him as a player, but at the same time, like, hey, yeah, sit down, old man, a little bit, which is funny because I still remember when he was like a 20-year-old like phenom and all that, and then like killing it, and then now he's like this old guy just like complaining about crap. So
yeah, for the record, he's from Hickory, North Carolina. So sorry to anybody from Mississippi or whatever else, but I'm with you. He needs to retire soon.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I know there's a lot of